Hi, good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television, your one-stop morning show for big stories from India and across the globe that you might have missed during the night, and also the stories likely to make headlines in the course of the day today. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor, and these are the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses concerns over challenges to the spirit of globalization at his address to the World Economic Forum at Davos. Global CEOs acknowledge his government's efforts to make doing business in India easier. Prime Minister Modi to hold bilateral meetings with ASEAN leaders in New Delhi today. At India-ASEAN Business Meet, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley pitches for more investment from 10-nation bloc in services and infrastructure sectors. Delhi High Court to hear pleas by 20 Aam Aadmi Party MLAs against their disqualification today. MLAs moved court challenging President's order to disqualify them for holding office of profit. International Court of Justice fixes 17th of April timeline for India to file written pleadings in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case. 17th of July time limit given to Pakistan for submitting rejoinder. And India look to avoid a test series whitewash against South Africa as they play the third test in Johannesburg today. In the Australian Open, Indo-Hungarian duo of Rohan Bopanna and Taimia Babos to fight for a spot in the semi-finals. Our top story this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is back home after historic and successful participation at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Now, the historic visit and the address was a first by an Indian Prime Minister in 20 years. During his much-anticipated address at the plenary address at the forum, the Prime Minister, as the keynote speaker, focused on the new India and its willingness to transform and perform, and also the challenges ahead for the global community.
Showcasing New India at the plenary session of the 48th World Economic Forum, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said his government has chosen the path of reform, perform and transform. Hard-selling India as an investment destination, he said that country is making historic changes in its economic and social policies to enable ease of business.
मैं आप सबका आह्वान करता हूं कि अगर आप वेल्थ के साथ वेलनेस चाहते हैं तो भारत में आइए। अगर आप हेल्थ के साथ जीवन की होलनेस यानी समग्रता चाहते हैं तो भारत में आए। अगर आप प्रॉस्पेरिटी के साथ पीस चाहते हैं तो भारत में आए। आप भारत आए, भारत में हमेशा आपका स्वागत होगा।
Speaking on the grave threats facing the world, Prime Minister Modi said climate change is the biggest challenge. Listing terrorism as the second grave global challenge, Prime Minister Modi said radicalization of educated youth is a concern, just as protectionism is another major challenge.
हर कोई कहता है कि कार्बन एमिशन को कम करना चाहिए, लेकिन ऐसे कितने देश या लोग हैं जो विकासशील देशों और समाजों को उपयुक्त टेक्नोलॉजी उपलब्ध कराने के लिए आवश्यक संसाधन मुहैया कराने में मदद करने के लिए आगे आते हैं। आतंकवाद जितना खतरनाक है उससे भी खतरनाक है गुड टेररिस्ट और बैड टेररिस्ट के बीच बनाया गया आर्टिफिशियल भेद। ग्लोबलाइजेशन अपने नाम के विपरीत सिकुड़ता चला जा रहा है। इस प्रकार की मनोवृत्तियां और गलत प्राथमिकताओं के दुष्परिणाम को क्लाइमेट चेंज या आतंकवाद के खतरे से हम कम नहीं आंक सकते।
Addressing the plenary session, Prime Minister Narendra Modi raised the issue of challenges being posed by technology and social media.
आज डेटा ये बहुत बड़ी संपदा है। डेटा के ग्लोबल फ्लो से सबसे बड़े अवसर बन रहे हैं और सबसे बड़ी चुनौतियां भी।
Sounding a positive note, Prime Minister Modi emphasized that a predictable, stable, transparent and progressive India is good news in an otherwise uncertain global environment.
A predictable, stable, transparent and progressive India will continue to be the good news in an otherwise state of uncertainty and flux. An India where enormous diversity exists harmoniously will always be unifying and harmonizing force.
Narendra Modi is the first Indian Prime Minister to address the World Economic Forum in Davos in 2 decades. Prime Minister Modi pointed out that before him, H.D. Deve Gowda had attended the summit in 1997 and since then, India's GDP has risen 6 times. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met global CEOs at the International Business Council meeting on Tuesday, where praising the business environment in India, he said that it is conducive and is being appreciated around the world. At the meet, the CEOs acknowledged that it has become far more easier to do business in India in the last 3 years. The CEOs also said that Prime Minister Modi's government has proactively tried to cut India's red tape to woo foreign investment. They also acknowledged structural reforms being undertaken by the Modi government, including the introduction of the GST. Among the several business leaders present were also Rahul Bajaj, Chanda Kochar, Uday Kotak, among others. And back home, in an unprecedented event, India has invited leaders of all 10 ASEAN nations to be the chief guests at the Republic Day parade this year. Leaders of 10 ASEAN nations will start arriving in New Delhi from today to attend the India-ASEAN Commemorative Summit on 25th of January. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold bilateral meetings with the leaders of Southeast Asian countries on the sidelines of the India-ASEAN Commemorative Summit, with a focus on key areas of counter-terrorism, security and connectivity. Today, Prime Minister Modi will hold meetings with the Vietnam Prime Minister, Philippines President and Myanmar's State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi after their arrival for the summit on 25th of January. He is also scheduled to hold bilateral talks with the leaders of Thailand, Singapore and Brunei on Thursday, and he'll also meet leaders of Indonesia, Laos and Malaysia on Friday. It is the highest level of participation to mark the 25 years of Indo-ASEAN ties. ASEAN comprises Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos and Brunei. And Finance Minister Arun Jaitley asserted on Tuesday that India has opened up its economy to the global investment. He stressed that at a time when the world has started looking inwards, India stands as an exception. Delivering the valedictory address at the 2-day India-ASEAN Business Summit, Jaitley also pointed out that India-ASEAN trade and investment relations have been growing steadily.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley's message to the world and ASEAN nations was clear. India is an open economy and ready for global investments across sectors. Delivering the valedictory address at the ASEAN-India Business and Investment Meet in the national capital on Tuesday, Jaitley said an open economy with global integration has brought additional resources for India.
This confidence of the new India is that it is getting greater, globally integrated. And this opening out in terms of trade, opening out in terms of investment, has certainly brought not only additionality of resources as far as India is concerned, but significantly improved upon India's own competitive strengths.
Jaitley also stressed that the Act East policy is central to India's cooperation with ASEAN and is strongly driven by trade and economic engagement. He also stressed on the importance of improved connectivity for achieving higher trade and investment.
The modest growth rate in the last 25 years we've picked up, and today have reached a point where India becomes one of the faster growing economies in the world. And any region that trades with India, or any person who invests in India, really looks at the prospect over the next 2 to 3 decades.
India adopted the Act East policy in 2014, which has led to ties with South Asian nations reaching new highs. The leaders of the 10 ASEAN nations would also be guests of honor at the Republic Day celebrations. The business summit focused on trade facilitation measures taken to promote trade between India and ASEAN countries in the manufacturing sector, promoting the SME ecosystem to enhance entrepreneurship quotient in the region and startup culture to create a new pipeline of ideas. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj has said that government is designing a mechanism in which there is a possibility of constant exchange of youth from the ASEAN countries with India. While addressing an award ceremony of both Indian and ASEAN youth, she said that India and ASEAN are old friends and share strong cultural linkages. There are mainly two things that connect India and ASEAN. One is Buddhism and the other is Ramayana, Swaraj said. Sushma Swaraj gave awards to 20 youth achievers from both the regions. The ceremony was organized in the run-up to the India-ASEAN Commemorative Summit on 25th of January in the national capital. Heads of states from all the 10 ASEAN countries are to take part in the summit and would also be the guests of honor on Republic Day. Sports Minister Rajya Singh Rathore and the Minister of State for External Affairs, General V.K. Singh, were also present at the occasion.
लेकिन 8 ट्रूप्स इस समिट के लिए, इस शिखर सम्मेलन के लिए आए हैं, जो 20 जनवरी से जिन्होंने अपना कार्य प्रारंभ किया है और वो अलग अलग हमारे प्रदेशों में भी जाएंगे। तो बौद्ध धर्म और रामायण इसका बहुत पुराना सांस्कृतिक संबंध है, लेकिन ये संबंध हमारी युवजन को भी पता चले, हमारी भावी पीढ़ी को भी पता चले। इसलिए इस कमेमोरेटिव समिट के संदर्भ में जब हमने आयोजन प्रारंभ किए तो तय करते समय लगभग 50 आयोजन हमने तय किए, लेकिन उसमें से बहुत प्रमुख आयोजन युवाओं पर केंद्रित किए।
If we have to sow the seeds to make the future world more friendly, then it can only be done through the youth. And this brilliant idea of bringing together the youth from India and ASEAN countries together to perhaps exchange ideas, talk to each other, play with each other, learn about each other's culture, languages, appreciate each other, and then together find who are the best.
And Textiles Minister Smriti Irani on Tuesday said that India has the potential to become the one-stop sourcing destination for brands and retailers from ASEAN. The minister was addressing a seminar on the India-ASEAN weaving textile relations in New Delhi. But even before the main event, several other programs were held on the sidelines of the ASEAN-India Business Council Forum. Here is a report.
Textile Minister Smriti Irani on Tuesday urged ASEAN industry to set up manufacturing bases in India to cater to the domestic market and exports. Addressing a seminar on India-ASEAN weaving textiles relations, Irani said she's hopeful that the program is the beginning of a new era in the textile sector.
I am hopeful that today's program is the beginning of a new era in the textile sector, a new friendship that can be forged to ensure that we give better manufacturing opportunities, better wage opportunities, and also help strengthen our legacies in the handloom and handicraft sector.
Meanwhile, bright Indian textiles showcased for top diplomats of ASEAN nations who got an insight into what the India is producing to attract business in Southeast Asia.
The policy of Act East policy of government Indian is the good one. It's very important, and the ASEAN is support for this policy. Act East policy does mean the bridge between Indian and ASEAN through northeast. You see, northeast. This is the issue of the connectivity, the air connectivity, the road connectivity, and the maritime connectivity.
The Laosian ambassador said the upcoming trilateral India-Myanmar-Thailand highway will boost trade between ASEAN countries and India.
ये इसके वजह से हम लोग का बहुत सुविधा मिलेगा, मतलब ये हमारा मणिपुर का जो बना हुआ हैंडलूम का प्रोडक्ट है, ये तो सिर्फ इंडिया के अंदर से बेचने से वजह से आउटसाइड कंट्री भी, एशियन कंट्री में भी सेल कर सकेगा.
I think the roadways, it's making us like connect more easily to the other countries and show our products and many other things, like to learn from them also and to show our things.
Small entrepreneurs and producers of silk textiles attracted a lot of attention from the ASEAN visitors.
हमारी ट्रेडिशन क्या रही है टेक्सटाइल्स में, सिल्क टेक्सटाइल्स में, हैंडलूम टेक्सटाइल्स में, और कितने सालों पुरानी रही है. इस चीज़ को रिप्रेजेंट करना सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है.
The enthusiasm and the keen interest shown by the visitors at the textile exhibition is a reflection of recent upgrade in India's relations with ASEAN nations. That has gone up beyond just looking east to acting east in recent years. A Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
On to some other news. In the run-up to the Union Budget, a Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog gave an exclusive interview to Rajya Sabha Television. In dismissing the speculation of an election budget this year, he said that the Union Budget in 2018 will not be a populist one. Rajiv Kumar also allayed fears on the unemployment front. He said that employment has risen phenomenally and that institutions like Niti Aayog will incorporate new benchmarks to arrive at correct figures about jobs in the country.
On what lines are you really expecting the budget as far as things like rural distress, unemployment, private investment, all these things are concerned?
It will not pander to any electoral causes.
Okay, so it's not going to be a populist budget.
It's not going to be this populist budget, with the handouts to everybody concerned, etc., etc.
Okay.
I think the Prime Minister doesn't believe in that.
The figures or the unemployment scenario, if I could say, is not as scary as it has been made out to be.
Not at all. I actually must commend to you the recent report produced by Ghosh and Ghosh, Soumyakanti Ghosh of the Chief Economist of State Bank of India, and Pulak Ghosh of the IIM Bangalore, a professor, who have looked at data from EPFO. In last year, 16-17, this economy generated 55 lakh jobs in the formal sector.
And you can watch the entire interview on our the program To The Point today at 10 p.m. on Rajya Sabha Television. On to some other news. Election Commissioner O.P. Rawat took over as the 22nd Chief Election Commissioner of India on Tuesday. He succeeds A.K. Jyoti, who remitted office on Monday. Now, speaking exclusively to Rajya Sabha TV, Rawat said that his main priority is to carry forward the legacy of free and fair elections.
2018 एक अहम साल है. कई राज्यों में चुनाव होने हैं, कई अहम राज्यों में चुनाव होने हैं और अगले साल लोकसभा के चुनाव. ऐसे में क्या प्राथमिकताएं होंगी?
मेरी सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता यही है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन का जो रिच ट्रेडिशन रहा है फ्री, फेयर और क्रेडिबल इलेक्शन कराने का, उसको मैं आगे बढ़ाऊं कमीशन के सहयोग से, ताकि फ्री फेयर इलेक्शंस होते रहें. और दूसरे क्या है, 2019 में पार्लियामेंट के जनरल इलेक्शंस ड्यू हैं, तो उसके लिए भी तैयारी एक साल पहले से शुरू होती है. तो उन तैयारियों को भी बड़े मजबूती से, एफिशिएंट तरीके से पूरा किया जाए.
कुछ दलों ने ख़ास तौर पर जो चुनाव आयोग पर निशाना साधा है, ऐसे में क्या चुनाव आयोग उनके खिलाफ कोई सख्त रुख रखेगा या फिर किस तरीके से आप अगला कदम उठाएं?
अगर ये छोटी छोटी बातें जो आती हैं, जब भी आप कोई भी इवन मैच अगर हो रहा होता है, उसमें रेफरी अगर कोई भी निर्णय दे देता है तो उस पर भी आलोचना होने लगती है. तो ये तो स्वाभाविक है और ये हमेशा होता रहेगा. इलेक्शन कमीशन का काम है इलेक्शन कंडक्ट करना. उसमें लोगों का परसेप्शन उनके पास अवेलेबल इन्फॉर्मेशन के आधार पर होता है, और उन्हें अगर 360 डिग्री इन्फॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल नहीं है तो वो कुछ भी उसको कर सकते हैं. और दूसरी चीज़ ये है कि पॉलिटिशियन कभी हार नहीं मानना चाहता, तो वो ये सोचता है कि पब्लिक के सामने हम कोई ना कोई जस्टिफिकेशन प्रोपेगेट कर दें कि जिससे ये ना लगे कि हमारे साथ ऐसा हुआ है.
विधानसभा चुनाव और लोकसभा चुनाव एक साथ कराए जाने की बात हुई, पार्लियामेंट में भी ये बात चली, तो इस पर चुनाव आयोग का क्या रुख है?
नहीं, चुनाव आयोग का तो स्थापना ही इसलिए हुई है कि आपको इलेक्शन कंडक्ट कराना है। दैट्स द ओनली लिमिटेड रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। वो किस तरह कराना, क्या कराना, ये संविधान और कानून में होता है, जो हमारी पार्लियामेंट बनाती है। तो जब संविधान और कानून उस तरह का होगा तब चुनाव आयोग अपना रोल पूरा करेगा।
जी, शुक्रिया सर हमसे बात करने के लिए। तो आप देख सकते हैं कि मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त का साफ तौर पर कहना है कि फ्री और फेयर इलेक्शन चुनाव आयोग की प्राथमिकता होगी। कैमरामैन शिव के साथ नवविक्रम सिंह, राज्यसभा टीवी, दिल्ली।
On to news from the northeast of the country, in Tripura, the notification for nominations for the state assembly polls will be issued today. Voting for the 60-member assembly has been slated for 18th of February and the counting is slated for 3rd of March. The term of the state assembly is ending on 14th of March. A day ahead of the notification, the left front government in the state issued its list of candidates. As per the list, Chief Minister and all other present ministers have been fielded for contesting. Tripura Chief Minister Manik Sarkar will contest from his present constituency, Dhanpur, and the left front has also announced 7 women candidates this time. News from the national capital. The Delhi High Court will hear pleas by the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs against their disqualification today. Remember, they had moved the Delhi High Court on Tuesday, challenging President Ramnath Kovind's decision to disqualify them on the recommendation of the Election Commission. The fresh was filed after 20 disqualified legislators withdrew their pleas in the Delhi High Court on Monday. This was because their petition was deemed infructuous, as the Kovind had already issued a notification to disqualify them. President Ramnath Kovind had on Sunday okayed the Election Commission's recommendation to disqualify the AAP legislators for holding offices of profit as Parliament secretaries. And there is an update on the Kulbhushan Jadhav case. The International Court of Justice, or the ICJ, has fixed the time limits for India and Pakistan for the filing of their written pleadings. While 17th of April has been given as the time limit for India, 17th of July is the date given to Pakistan for its submissions. Jadhav was, remember, sentenced to death by a Pakistani military court on charges of espionage and terrorism in April last year, following which India moved the Hague-based ICJ in the month of May. The 10-member bench of the ICJ on 18th of May had restrained Pakistan from executing Jadhav till the adjudication of the case. Now, Pakistan claims that its security forces arrested Jadhav from Balochistan province on 3rd of March last year after he reportedly entered there from Iran. India, however, maintains that Jadhav was kidnapped from Iran, where he had gone for business interests after retiring from the Indian Navy. The top international focus: at least 33 people have been killed in 2 car bombs near a mosque in the Libyan city of Benghazi. 20 to 30 more people were wounded by the blasts, which took place within minutes of each other. The first vehicle blew up in the front of a mosque in the central Al-Sulaimani neighborhood as worshippers were leaving the building after evening prayers. And after security and health officials arrived on the scene, a second, more powerful blast was detonated from a Mercedes that was parked on the opposite side of the street, hitting an ambulance and causing a higher number of casualties. Both military personnel and civilians are among the victims. It is not yet clear who was behind the bloodshed. Remember, the fighting in Benghazi is a part of a conflict that developed in Libya after former ruler Muammar Gaddafi was removed from power and killed in a NATO-backed uprising in 2011. 2 rival parliaments and many powerful militia groups have battled for dominance, and the disruption has allowed the Islamic State group to gain a foothold in that country. All the sporting action now. In India will take on South Africa in the 3rd test match of the 3-match series at New Wanderers Stadium in Johannesburg from today. Team India will be aiming to assert themselves against the hosts after being defeated in the first test match by 72 runs and also in the second test match by 135 runs. Ajinkya Rahane is making a comeback into the side. The match is scheduled to start at 1:30 p.m. All the news from the Australian Open, and in the men's singles event, ace Croatian player Marin Cilic and British tennis player Kyle Edmund have advanced to the semi-finals of the tournament. Marin Cilic beat world number 1 Rafael Nadal 3-6, 6-3, 6-7, 6-2, 2-0. He retired hurt, while Edmund defeated a third seed Grigor Dimitrov 6-4, 3-6, 6-3, 6-4. Marin Cilic will face British number 2 Kyle Edmund on Thursday. On to the other match of the event to be played today. Roger Federer will face Thomas Berdych, while South Korea's Hyung Chung will take on tennis Sandgren USA in the quarter-finals today. Speaking about the women's singles, Elise Mertens of Belgium defeated Elina Svitolina 6-4, 6-0 to reach the semi-finals. Mertens will now play against Caroline Wozniacki of Denmark. In the other match of the tournament, Simona Halep will face Karolina Pliskova, while Angelique Kerber will play against Madison Keys for a place in the quarterfinals. In the other matches slated to be played today in the mixed doubles, ace Indian player Rohan Bopanna and his Hungarian teammate Timea Babos will play against the Cambodian-American pair of Juan Sebastian Cabal and Abigail Spears today for a place in the semi-finals. The pair defeated the unseeded Croatian-American team of Franco Skrugor and Vanya King in straight sets 6-4, 6-4. And the nominations for the 90th Academy Awards have been announced. Guillermo del Toro's fantasy romance The Shape of Water is leading the field with 13 nominations, including Best Picture. World War II drama Dunkirk follows with 8 nominations, while 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri received 7 nominations. Among the actors, Frances McDormand, a 4-time nominee and a winner for Fargo in 1997, was nominated for her lead performance in 3 Billboards, and joining her was Sally Hawkins for The Shape of Water, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, and Meryl Streep for The Post. It was Meryl Streep's 21st Oscar nomination. Gary Oldman's performance as Winston Churchill in The Darkest Hour landed him a Best Actor nod. He was joined in the category by newcomers Daniel Kaluuya and Timothy Chalamet, as well as Daniel Day-Lewis and 9-time nominee Denzel Washington. The nominees were announced by actors Andy Serkis and Tiffany Haddish, with Priyanka Chopra also making a brief cameo in the visual for Best Cinematography. The Oscars will be held on 4th of March, the morning of 5th of March for India. That's all in this edition of news, but news and updates continue on Rajya Sabha television. Thanks for watching.